Hello from the National Archives. My name is Missy McNatt, and I'm an education specialist in Washington, D.C. And welcome to the National Archives Comes Alive Young Learners Program. You can find information about future programs on the National Archives website under Events and on the National Archives Facebook page. This morning, we will meet Harriet Tubman, called Moses, but also a scout, a nurse, and a spy with the Union Army during the Civil War. And after the war, an activist for women's rights and a humanitarian throughout her life. Harriet Tubman is portrayed by Dr. Daisy Century, talented teacher and inspirational actor with American Historical Theater. February is Black History Month, and it is a time for us to acknowledge and reflect on the African American experience in America, both the trials and tribulations and the inspirational deeds and people. And surely, Harriet Tubman is an inspiration to us today. In the holdings of the National Archives, we have numerous records related to Harriet Tubman, including this one, a photograph of Harriet Tubman from the 1870s. And this document and many, many others can be found in docsteach.org. And the next slide is the featured activity for this program, and we encourage you to check it out at the end of our program. And again, we will share this information at the end. After Harriet Tubman's presentation, we will have a question and answer session. So please write your questions in the YouTube chat box. We have a National Archives staff member who is monitoring it. And let us know where you're watching from today. This program is brought to you by the National Archives education staff, the National Archives, and the National Archives Foundation. And we hope you enjoy this program. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Harriet Tubman, a determined woman who changed the lives of individuals and the nation.
Did you see that? There it goes again. You thought you saw something when you're not sure. It's that Harriet Tubman, that's who it is. That's how she operates. Quick as a flash, in and out. Only the night skies can attest to her bravery and her mission. That Harriet Tubman wasn't scared of nothing. She wasn't scared of nobody neither. She didn't come in this world to be no slave, and she didn't stay one neither. Early one morning, she stole away. She ran through the forest. She ran through the swamps, hound dogs on the trail. She ran and ran. She ran through the swamps. She ran through the rivers. She ran and ran until she got to freedom. But she didn't stop there. She went back. Time and time again. She made well over 13 trips and brought well over 300 with her to Freedom Land. $40,000 on her head, dead or alive. But that Harriet Tubman was too clever. They never did collect on that reward money. I smelled her running through her veins, I tell you. Braver than brave was that Harriet Tubman. She was known to the Union soldiers as General Tubman. She was known to the slaves as Moses. She was known to the abolitionists as the prophet. Now, I figure two things out in my head. In this life, I'm on two things, either death or freedom. Can't have one, I'll have the other. Now, as I got a little bit older, I heard that they were going to sell me way down south. So I wasn't going to wait for them to sell me. I started making preparation. Started packing some meat skins, some whole cakes and water. My two younger brothers, I said, now I'm getting ready to run off. Y'all going with me? They said, yeah, meant to be going. I said, well, meet me in 2 days' time. Down by the pond, that big oak tree, we'll be there. They said, we'll be there, Minty. 2 days' time come, I'm waiting down by the pond. Y'all ready? Come on, let's go. Come on. They said, Minty, we ain't going again. So what you mean you ain't going? They said, Minty, we too scared, Minty. I said, don't you think I'm scared too? My heart's beating so fast, I'm scared. But Minty, please don't go, Minty. They're going to punish you real bad, Minty. I know that. I know what's going to happen if they catch me. I know that. I don't know if I'm going to go the right way. I'm going to be all alone at night in the swamp. But I know if they catch me, they're going to punish me real bad. I know that. I got to go. You see that mule out there in the field? I ain't no different from that mule. That mule stay in the field, all kinds of weather from sunrise to sunset, giving little scraps of food. You don't do what you say, you get beat. I ain't no different from that mule. I got to go. You see, just for 1 minute, if I could just be free for 1 minute on free ground, it's enough for my soul. Just 1 minute. I promise I'm coming back for you. I promise. I promise I'll come back for you. I promise. I went in the cabin to tell Mama and Daddy bye. As soon as I got in the cabin, Daddy turned his back. Daddy said, I know this day was coming since you've been a little old girl. That's why I teach you everything I know. You remember how to walk through the woods quiet? I said, yes, sir. You remember about the star, Minty? You remember? I said, yes, sir, Daddy. I said, well, you go on, Minty. You run as fast as your legs can carry you, and you go on the freedom land, you hear? When they come and ask, did I see you run off? I can actually say I didn't see you run off, Minty, because I ain't going to look at your little girl. I ain't going to look at your little girl. I ain't going to look at your little girl. Mama said, Minty, only got this old quilt to give you to keep you warm at night. But you go on your feet now, yeah? I'm so scared. My heart's beating so fast. At first, I gotta find that star to make sure I'm going in the right way. I can't find it. I can't find the star. I can't find it. I can't find it. There it is. Oh, I took off. I ran, and I ran. I didn't even stop to eat. I would eat and run at the same time. 1 week passed, 2 weeks passed. Oh, in the meantime, I stopped in the houses on the Underground Railroad that would give me food and clothes, and I would rest for a few days, be on my way. One time I was put in the bottom of a wagon. I was covered over with beans and corn to take me to the next stop. I would run. More than 3 weeks 3 weeks and a half. 4 weeks. The fork in the road just said, with a sign. Said, give me a paper with some letters on. It said, the letters look just like what's on your paper. It means you've been to Pennsylvania. The letters look like just what was on my paper. I made it. I made it. Mom and Daddy could see me now. My brothers could see me now. I made it. When I crossed that line, looked at my hands. I gotta look different now that I'm free. I can't look the same. I looked at my hand and there was a glory. There was a glory over everything. And the sun comes through the trees like gold. Made my skin and the grass and leaves and trees. Everything was golden. And there was a hush. I feel like I was in heaven. This is how freedom feels. Golden and quiet. And I was like I was in heaven. I was free, but I was all alone in freedom land. I thought there would be a big, I thought there would be singing and shouting and people waving flags and lots of food. They would drag me across the freedom line. There was no one to greet me in freedom land. So, got myself together, walked to the next safe house. That took me into Chester, through the marshes, and into Philadelphia. Oh, when I got to Philadelphia, gave me a place to stay and gave me clothes and oh, freedom was nice. Freedom was real nice. I took in wash to make a few pennies here and there. And I sat down with a colored man. His name was William Still. He could read and write real good. Boy, he did my heart good. He said, Miss Tubman, tell me everything. I sit down, I talked to him for a long time. I would walk around and look at all the good people. Dressed nice. Nice clothes and hat and things. Nobody getting beat, nobody working in the fields. Oh, freedom was nice. Freedom was real nice. After about 3 months, Harriet, no. You got that look in your eye, Harriet. No, don't even think about going back, Harriet. They want you real bad, Harriet. $40,000, Harriet, dead or alive. You can go into New Jersey, New York, into Canada, where you'll truly be free. Please don't go back, Harriet. Got to go back. My mom and daddy back there, my brothers and sisters, and hundreds of folks who want to be free. I know the way. I know the way. I can bring up the freedom land. I got to go back. I can't still be in the freedom and they're back there. I ain't free till they're free. I got to go back. God will protect me. So, Harriet, go back and be careful, you hear? I will. I will. And so I did. I went back time and time again. Anybody who wanted to go, man, woman, baby, boy, girl, it didn't matter. If you want to go to Freedom Land, you come with me, and I'll take you to Freedom Land. But you got to do one thing. You got to listen to me. That no one will be turning back, telling Master which way we're going. No one. You do what I say and I get you to freedom land. Sometimes we're moving along. I says, come on, y'all. We got to pick up the pace a little bit faster. Let's go. I said, Miss Tubman, there's a river in front of us. We can't cross that river. I hear the hound dogs in the back. Says, come on, y'all. The hound dog's getting too close. They said, Miss Tubman, we can't cross that river. Now I got to cross the river to let them know that we can cross the river. I go to the middle of the river. That's the deepest part. I said, we can cross this. I said, come on, y'all. Y'all going across the river. I'll take care of the hound dog. So I reach in my bag. I sprinkle black pepper all around. Sprinkle black pepper all around. Hound dogs can't pick up the trail in black pepper. That hound dog go around in circles. That hound dog don't know which way to turn. I said, come on, y'all, go. Then I make lots of tracks from the river to the forest. Lots of tracks from the river to the forest. See, that way, it looks like we all come from the river going to the forest, when we actually cross the river to the other side. That old Harriet Tubman was too clever, I tell you. She never did take the same road twice. Now, when we get to the other side, the person in the front has to take the stick to go back and forth across our path. Because sometimes slave catchers plant big bear traps all in the woods and the swamp. You step in that bear trap, snap your foot off just like that. Sometimes they have big holes with spikes in it. You fall in that big hole, and that's the end of you. So the person in the front will guide us with their stick to pick up any traps or holes. The person in the front got a bush tied to their waist. And as they travel, the bush will erase most of the tracks in the back. So all right, y'all, come on now, let's go. Come on, let's go. We're walking through the mud. We pick up the leeches, the flies. I can hear my father's like this, Minty. Listen to the forest, Minty, listen. I said, the leaves are not moving. I don't hear a cricket. I don't hear a frog. It's too quiet. Stay right here. I'm going to go up ahead. I'm going up ahead. I look around. Slave catchers waiting for us in the clearing of the swamp. I said, let's go back. Now what we going to do? The river in the back of us, slave catchers this way. The only way left to go is this way. So everybody get down. I crawl on my belly and I drag one person out at a time to the other side. If I think that little baby's going to make a sound, my daddy told me about that herb with the white blossom. I rub it on that little baby's gum. Put that baby off into a deep sleep. Sometimes the women folk, sometimes they get too excited and scared. They make as much sound as the babies. So I would have to rub it on their gums too. Keep them quiet. So everybody laid out in the grass. And I pull them out and say, to the other side. And that's what we did. That's what we did on our mission. I got my brothers and sisters out, got my mom and daddy out, and hundreds of other folks who want to be free. I got them all out. And sometimes they say, Miss Tubman, what you put in your bag this time? I said, well, this time on our mission, I'm going to pack some smooth river rocks. I said, Miss Tubman, what you going to do with river rocks? I said, well, I can't use my pistol or my rifle. So if I went into a rabid raccoon or some type of snake, I could just pick them off one at a time with the river rocks. And Miss Tubman, what else you going to carry? Well, I had to give me this knife, put this knife in there, wool cloth, in case we get cut. We need to bandage ourselves up. This time, I'll take my rifle with me. So in each mission, I had something different in each mission. And that's what I did, till I got everybody out. Said, all right, now, let's go. We're ready to travel. Because you see, that old Harriet Tubman wasn't born to be no slave, and she didn't stay one neither. No, sir, she didn't stay one neither.
Well, thank you so much, Harriet Tubman, Ms. Tubman. That was a wonderful, wonderful performance. And wow, dangerous, so dangerous. So yeah, we'll clap here. Fantastic. And we now have our question and answer session, but let me start by saying we have folks from across the United States with us today, from Oregon, Alaska, New Orleans, Colorado, all the way St. Augustine, Florida. A special hello to all the students and teachers at the Culverton School, St. Mary's, North Carolina, goodness gracious, I know I'm not going to get them all, Denmark, Indiana, and somebody from Auburn, New York, where Harriet Tubman is buried. So my apologies if I missed where you are from, but wow, I am so excited that we have so many folks here. Rhode Island, yeah, fantastic. So we've got some questions for you. And first question, so why did you continue to return south to rescue slaves?
Well, first of all, there's compassion in my heart. And I knew how hard it was for me as a child. And I didn't want anybody else to go through that. And the good Lord provided a way for me to run off to freedom, to find a way to get there. So now that I knew the way, I could go back and get others. And I knew it was dangerous, but I trust the good Lord, and I know He would provide for me. So that's why I continued going to get people, because I didn't want them to go through what I went through as a child.
So what would you say was your most dangerous moment on one of the missions?
Oh, it's hard to say. Every time I went on a mission, it was just as dangerous as the other one, sometimes more dangerous. But I was very careful not to be seen, not to be heard, like my daddy said, to walk real quiet, to sneak up on people. So the most dangerous one, of course, was one time I was on the train. Slave catchers patrolling the train, slave catchers outside. Now, how am I going to get off? But back then, you could travel with your chickens and hogs in little containers. So there was a woman that had some chickens in the little containers. And I said, let me hold your chickens. And I let the chickens go. And I run behind the chicken. I said, oh, my chicken, my chicken, my chicken. So I run right past the slave catchers, flailing my arms, my chickens, my chickens. So that was perhaps the closest they ever come to being sought after or being caught.
Wow, that sounds like you were always thinking and just coming up with plans just very, very quickly. That's pretty amazing. How many people did you take to freedom?
Well, the people with me, and sometimes I lost track myself. It was well over 300.
Wow.
Well over 300, yes.
That's quite a few. And, well, you kind of talked about this, but your siblings, how many siblings do you have?
Well, with 9 altogether, I made number 9. I had 4 brothers and 4 sisters.
And you got them all out to freedom?
Got them all out to freedom, except my older sister. She died shortly before I got a chance to rescue her. And I always think about that. I had a chance to rescue her. She died just before I was about to rescue her.
Uh, a question about what you would put on somebody didn't quite hear what you said, what you put on the baby's gums to keep them quiet.
Well, early in my life, my dad would take me out into the woods and show me everything. And he showed me a little plant that had white blossom. And that was, he said, if you take some of that, it puts you out into a deep sleep. So that's what I wrote on the baby's gum, that plant. It puts you out into a deep sleep. Now, today's time, way out in the future, will be something like the poppy plant, way out in the future. We just call it the green plant with the white blossom.
So here's another question. What was it like traveling through thick and thin, or, all the different places that you traveled? So I guess the marshes, the rivers, and all kind of going along with that, how long would it take you to take a group to freedom?
Well, now, see, it used to take us about 6 weeks or so, or maybe before. But sometimes we have to stay one place for sometimes 3-4 days because slave patrol is all over the place. So we have to look into that and account of the weather. So we have to take all of that into account. But usually, for the most part, all the way from Maryland into Philadelphia, into New York, into Canada, that'll take at least about 6-7 weeks, maybe at the most.
Now that's a long time. And here's a question: did you always? I mean, you had to trust people, and was that ever an issue for you? Everybody who worked with you, did you ever think somebody was going to turn against you or anything like that?
Oh, all the time. All the time I had to watch myself. And I learned that from my daddy. Never expose too much. Sometimes people would ask me, Miss Tubman, when are we leaving? I said, we're leaving first thing in the morning when I know we're going to be leaving in 2 days. And then I would go to the place where I said to meet me, and I would see the slave catchers there with that person. So a lot of times I would give them false information. When I knock on the door, I would say false information, a false name. So I would always think of through things, always think in my head what's going to happen. But I never give out my information to nobody. You want to go to freedom? You do as I say. You don't ask questions.
Wow. And then question, why did you change your name to Harriet Tubman from Minty?
Well, when I was a little girl, they used to call me Araminta. That's a big old name, Araminta. Sometimes they call me Minty. I just didn't like that name, Araminta. So I liked my mama's name better. My mama's name was Harriet. So I changed my name to Harriet. And of course, I got married to a free man by the name of John Tubman. So I got the Tubman for the last name. So Harriet Tubman became my name for the rest of my life.
And how old were you when you made it to freedom? When you
the first time took off, and somewhere around 28, 29 years old.
Wow. And how did you get food on your trips, on your journeys?
What?
Get food.
Well, most of the times I took meat skins and I took some of the roots that we had roasted with me. I would roast that ahead of time, and I knew the berries to get. I looked for the roots as we come through. We'd take that. When we get to a safe house, they would give us food. So that would last us until we could get to the next safe house.
Okay. And where did you stay in Philadelphia when you first escaped to Philadelphia?
They said somewhere on 13th Street. I can't remember the name of the street, but I remember they said 13th Street. Mr. Williams still lived there, and he had a house, 2 houses down the block. So somewhere on 13th Street, off of Spruce, I think it was, if I remember correctly. I think it was 13th and Spruce, right in that area.
Okay. And because you mentioned taking people to Canada, when did you start taking people to Canada? and not just to across the line to Pennsylvania.
Well, see, now we always went to Canada. We didn't stay in Philadelphia for too long. But the rules would get around. That Fugitive Slave Act law they had, the slave catchers could come to Philadelphia, take any black people, free or not, pick them up right off the street and take them back and sell them into slavery. So it wasn't too safe right off. We stayed there for a little while. We go into New Jersey, stayed there for a little while, into New York and into Canada. So a trip was going to Canada all the time. And most I was going to St. Catherine in Canada. That was like my headquarters. I would stay there and think out in my head. What's my next trip? Where I was going to go? How many people I was going to pick up on each one of the trips? And some of the code words we would have, my connection with each one of the safe houses. So that's where I would go. Now, figure that out in about a month or so, 2 months, I'll be ready again for my journey. Pack my bag, be ready to go.
So I have a question. This is actually from me, because you talked about the fact that you were able to figure out you were in Pennsylvania because you had a piece of paper with writing on it and you were to match it. Did you ever, and you were such a planner, did you ever learn to read and write?
No. All the times I never did learn to read and write. I could look at some of the letters and I know what the letter looked like, but I couldn't quite cipher out what it was.
And here's an interesting one. On any of your escape journeys with taking people to freedom, did you ever help a mother give birth to a child?
No, because at the beginning of our trip, if I know she's expecting, I know, of course, I would rule against it. I would wait. If she's too close to birth, I would wait till she had that little baby. But taking a woman along, you never know what would happen. So that was one of the things I didn't do. If she was expecting or getting very close, I would wait till she had the baby, then she would come along with us.
All right. I think that's all of our questions for this morning. So thank you so much. Wow. Just as I said, you are such an amazing person. So thank you for joining us today and talking about your story, and just an inspiration to all of us. So thank you, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.